Mrs. Walker. For our lesson today, we're going to take what we've learned about fractions and we're going to apply it to telling time. So our learning goal for today says, I can tell time to the half hour and quarter hour. So maybe half and quarter might be words that you remember from our fractions lessons. All right, so let's talk about the materials that you'll need for this lesson. You need your lesson template, your dry erase board, your scissors, crayons, and a brad fastener. Now, a brad fastener is like a little brass pin almost. If you don't have one of those, that's absolutely fine. You'll be okay without it for this lesson. Also, if you don't have crayons, that's okay too. As long as you have your lesson template and scissors and dry erase board, you'll be good. All right, friends, let's take a look at the clock below. Where is the minute hand? Yeah, it's right here, right? It's pointing to the 12. Where is the hour hand? Yeah, it's the shorter hand, right? Now, if you're thinking, Mrs. Walker, I already know this. Well, you know what? You probably do, and that's okay. That's good. This is a good review from stuff that you learned in first grade. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, hang on. Before we go back here, I want to talk about these hands. And if you sometimes forget on which hand is the hour hand and the minute hand, you might just go, oh, I forget. You know, the way that I help remember is the word minute is a longer word than the word hour. So the minute hand is a longer hand and the hour hand is a shorter hand. So that might be a trick that helps you remember. Okay, let's look. What time is it shown on the clock? Yeah, it's 1 o'clock, right? Minute hand points to the 12, which means o'clock, and the hour hand is pointing to 1, so 1 o'clock. When the minute hand moves all the way around the clock, it has been 60 minutes, or 1 whole hour. So here, watch it go around. That's been 1 whole hour. Now that 1 hour has passed, what time is it? Yeah, it's 2 o'clock now. When half an hour has passed, the minute hand is halfway around the circle. I'm going to move the minute hand around until a half an hour has passed. Tell me when to stop, okay? All right, here we go. Oh, am I there yet? Nope, okay, keep going. Oh, red light stop. Yeah, so now my minute hand represents half an hour, and half an hour has passed. Good job, friends. At what number did the minute hand stop? What number on my clock is my minute hand pointing to? Yeah, it's 6 o'clock right here. Good. The hour hand is halfway between the 1 and what other number? Yeah, the 2. It's halfway between the 1 and the 2. Now, another trick to remember, friends, is almost kind of think of like your hour hand has like a hook on it that goes backwards. So you're always going kind of back to like the smaller number as you're reading the time on the clock. What fraction of the whole hour has passed? Yeah, it's half an hour, right? So if we kind of look here at our, I can shade in half an hour, which is like half of our circle, which is half of 60 minutes. This is why we call this time half past the hour. All right, so let's read this time together as half past 1. Okay, so we're going to read this sentence. Ready? Here we go. It is half past 1. Awesome. What's another way to read this time? Okay, we could say 1:30, right? That's another way. What is 1 half hour later? Ooh, a little tricky. All right, so I want you to look at the clock. You're going to pause the video. And what's 1 half hour later? What time is it going to be? So pause, think about it, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, what'd you come up with? What's 1 half hour later? If it's already 1:30, yeah, it's 2 o'clock, right? So let's move our minute hand all the way around another half. And there we are, right? We're still at 2 o'clock. Actually, there's 2 o'clock. All right, so what time is shown below now? I want you to pause the video, take a look, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, what time do you see? Yeah, it's 3:30. Good job. What's another way we can say the time? Yeah, we could say it's 3:30, right? If we shade in half of our clock, we could see that this is 3:30. And we're in between that 3 and the 4. So we're going to the 4. The 3. We're still in the 3 o'clock hour. Awesome. All right, so now you're going to cut out the circle and minute and hour hand on your lesson template. Make sure to cut along the outside dotted line. Don't cut along that solid line. Okay, you're cutting along that dotted line that I'm pointing to right there. Okay, so pause the video, cut out your clock and your hour and minute hand, and then click play when you're ready for the next step. All right, friends, so here's what you should have cut out, just like this. Okay, all right, so now I want you to fold the circle in half along one set of dotted lines. So you can pick any set of dotted lines that you want. For me, I just kept it straight like this and folded in half from left to right. But you can fold it any way as long as you're on the dotted line. So do that, and then click play when you're ready for the next step. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. All right, so when you unfold your circle, how many equal parts do you have now? Yeah, so I'm going to draw a line right here just so I can see. So my solid line represents my 2 equal parts. Ready? So 1 part, 2 parts. Okay, so those are my 2 equal parts. What fraction is each equal part? So remember, think about it. I know it's a little tricky with all these dotted lines in there, but imagine the dotted lines aren't there and you just have a regular circle with one line down the middle. What fraction is each equal part? Yeah, it's 1/2, right? This is just like the fraction work we've done in our previous lessons. So I want you to trace along the folded line like I did to clearly show the 2 halves. So draw a line straight up and down on that fold. Okay, so pause the video, do that, and then click play when you're ready for the next step. All right, friends, so yours should look just like mine now. All right, so what number's at the top of a clock? Like if you were to just look at a clock, what number are you going to see at the top? Yeah, we see 12, right? So let's write that in. So here's where 12 would be. So I want you to pause the video and I want you to write in 12 and then click play when you're ready for the next step. All right, friends, what number is at the bottom of the clock? Yeah, it's a 6, right? So let's write that in. So here's our 6. I want you to pause the video, write in your 6 straight below the 12, and then click play when you're ready for the next step. All right, friends, here we go. So let's take our circle and fold it in half again along the same line as before. Okay, so this line right here. Okay, I want you to fold it in half. And then let's fold it in half one more time. Okay, so pause the video, fold it in half on the first line, and then fold it in half again, and then click play when you're ready for the next step. All right, friends. So when we unfold the circle, we have a new part, right? So we should have a part like here. So now you should have 2 lines. You can draw 2 lines on your circle. What fraction is each part now? So before we had halves, now how many parts do we have? Yeah, it's split into fourths, right? Because we have 4 parts. How did we get from halves to fourths? Yeah, when we folded the half, we split it in half again. That's pretty crazy, right? So now that we can see the 4 quarters, let's use them to help tell time. Okay, so this is going to be something new. So let's fill in the missing hours on our clock first. Okay, so here we have 1. Okay, and you don't have to do this. I'm going to let you guys pause as soon as I finish going around, and then you guys will be able to add that to your clock as well. Okay, so we have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we already had 6, so we're going to skip it and go to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and we already have 12. Okay, so if you do have a brad, you can make a hole and punch and attach the hour and the minute hand and write in the hours on your clock. If you don't have a brad, it's okay. You can just move the hour hand and minute hand around when we get to working with that in a little bit. Okay, so pause the video, add in your hours just like I have, and then click play when you're ready for the next step. All right, friends, here we go. All right, so I want you to show 12 o'clock on your clock. Okay, so pause the video, show 12 o'clock on your clock, and then click play when you're ready for the next step. All right, friends, here is 12 o'clock, right? Both of your hands should be pointing to the 12. Now move your minute hand to the 3, just your minute hand, and then click play when you're ready for the next step. All right, so here's what we should look like now, right? What fraction of an hour passes when the minute hand moves from the 12 to the 3? What do you think? Think about we divided our circle up into parts, right? So what fraction of an hour passes? Yeah, it's a quarter or 1/4. And I can kind of see if I shade this part in, right? That helps me if I color that part in. So when telling time, we refer to that as a quarter instead of a 4th. So when the minute hand points to the 3, we say that it's quarter past the hour. All right, so what time is shown on the clock below? Oh, I want you guys to fill in this blank. It's quarter past what? Yeah, it's quarter past 1, right? Because when it's in between the 2 hours, you go to the hour before. So it's quarter past 1. All right, so what time is shown on the clock below now? So I want you to fill in the blank. Quarter past. It's between the 6 and the 7, so you go back to the hour and it would be 6. Quarter past 6. Good job, friends. All right, so what time is shown on the clock below now? Fill in the blank. It's quarter past 10. Okay, good job. All right, so remember, this is quarter past, right? We have that 1/4 filled in. So now I'm going to move my hands, and now I'm going to shade in a new part. This is half past. All right, let's do another one. Move my minute hand. What do you think that we would call this? It was quarter past, then it was half past. Now what do you think? Yeah, it's 3/4 past the hour. Oh, let me go back here real quick. So when we tell the time, we usually call it quarter to the next hour. Okay. All right, it's the 12 o'clock hour right now. What hour is next? So look at your hour hand, right? It's in between the 12 and what number? And the 1, right? So it's between, the next hour is 1 o'clock. So after we call this, hang on. So we call this quarter to 1. Sorry, I was getting ahead of myself. After we call this quarter to 1, notice how that white space on our clock is the same as the blue. So each one of these colors represents 1/4. So we can say that because we're missing 1/4 of our circle. That's why we're saying it's 1:45. Okay, so that's how we get 1:45. So let's add some more numbers to our clocks now. So you guys have these little tick marks all the way around your clock. My clock doesn't have it, but yours does. What does each little mark on the side of the clock mean? What do you think? Yeah, it's 1 minute, right? So how many minutes are between one number and the next? So if we go from 12 to 1, how many minutes are in the between? Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 minutes. So we can skip count by fives around the clock. Okay, let's skip count. Ready? So we're at 5, 10, 15. Ooh, I'm going to stop there and I'm going to write in 15 because there's some numbers that I want to write in. Okay, now let's keep going. So we're at 15. Oh, sorry. How many minutes are in a quarter hour? Yeah, 15 minutes, right? Because we've gone around 1/4 of our clock. Okay, so here we go. So 15 minutes, 20, 25, 30. We're going to stop and put in 30 there as well. This also represents half past. Okay, so let's keep counting. We're at 30, 35, 40, 45. So we'll stop and label that too. And we'll go 50, 55, 60. And we will label our 60 minutes. Okay, so I want you guys to pause the video and I want you to add in those times on there. 15, 30, 45, and 60. And then click play when you're ready for the next step. All right, friends, here we go. All right, so when the minute hand moves through all 4 quarters, right, it goes all the way around, we've completed what whole unit? What do those 60 minutes represent? Yeah, 1 hour, right? 60 minutes is 1 hour. So once we go through all 4 of those quarters, we are at 1 hour has passed. So how many minutes past the hour is it here? That's 15 minutes, right? So the 3 represents 15 minutes past the hour. It's like 3 groups of 5 minutes, right? When we count around by fives. So from the 12, so 5, 10, 15, all the way to the 3. What fraction of the hour does it also represent? Yeah, it's a quarter or a fourth, right? So a quarter of an hour is also 15 minutes. Oh, cool. All right, so when the minute hand points to the 6, how many minutes past the hour is it? Yeah, it's 30 minutes, right? So it's another quarter. So 15 minutes plus 15 minutes equals 30 minutes. Or you could always skip count around by fives until you get to the hour or to the 6. All right, so I'm going to show you a time on the clock, and you will write or say the time using the vocabulary from our lesson. So that's like things like quarter past, and you would fill in the hour, half past, or 1:45. You can also write just the time, like 1:30, okay? All right, so here's your first one. What time is shown on the clock? So I want you to pause the video, figure out the time, and then and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, so what time is shown on the clock? We could say 8:30, right? Or we could say 8:30. All right, let's look at another one. So what time is shown on the clock? I want you to pause the video, take a peek, write it down, right? Using our vocabulary, half past, quarter past, 1:45, or the time. And then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, what'd you come up with for the time? Yeah, we're in the 10 o'clock hour, and it's 10:15. Or we know that quarter past means 15, so it's 10:15. All right, here's another one for you. All right, so what time is shown on the clock now? Okay, so pause the video, write down the time, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, what'd you come up with? Yeah, it's 3:45 or 3:45. Now, here's where this one can be a little bit tricky. So when you're talking about just like the time, 3:45, we know that our hour hand is in that between the 3 and the 4 o'clock hour, but it's still in that 3 o'clock hour. So that's where we get our 3, the hour 3 from. And then we can see that it's pointing straight to the 9, which is 45 minutes. Now, when we're talking about 1:45, we're looking that it's only 1/4 left of the clock before it gets to 4 o'clock. So that's where those two different ways of writing this time are coming from. Okay, so good job with that one, friends. All right, so dude, you guys did an awesome job telling time to the half hour and quarter hour. So please head back on over to the module to see what you need to complete for your independent practice. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to help. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye, friends!